All right, I guess let's move on. Oh, man, Al, I put it on the line. The people out there know I haven't got a main event wrong since the last Israel Adesanya fight. What did I do? I sacked up. I took the plus 200 underdog Vettori. I said my man needs to go out there. He needs to hit these takedowns in the middle, the center of the octagon. Does he hit some takedowns? Yeah. Does he do it in the center of the octagon? No. Does Adesanya use the cage just to perfection? And here's the deal, right, Al? It wasn't necessarily, which don't get me wrong, we saw improvements in the Adesanya takedown defense. It was better, okay? The big, huge fight-winning improvement, though, was the get-up game. When Marvin Vettori got on top of Adesanya, in a multitude of different ways, figured out how to escape and how to escape relatively quickly. Marvin Vettori could not keep this dude on the mat. And Marvin Vettori's only path to victory in this fight was to take Israel Adesanya down and hold him to the mat and get off good offense, find a submission. Man, he about had that RNC at one point. That was our shot right there, Al. Adesanya, man, does great. Turns into the side the triangle's on, ends up in his guard, fights back to the feet. Hats off to Adesanya, man. You know, he had holes. He got exposed in his last fight. He obviously worked. He obviously improved. You know, I'll be honest though, man, a little bit disappointed in Vettori as far as the game plan and his path to victory, right? Did he hit some takedowns? Yeah. Did he engage in enough wrestling? Probably not. You know, spent a little too much time up against the cage. Just I don't know, man. In my mind, strategically from my analysis going into this fight, Vettori putting Adesanya up against the cage wasn't the path to victory. You know, I understand it can lead to the takedowns, but it needed to be away from the cage, and they all took place close to the cage. And Adesanya, man, you know, used it to get up. You know, we saw him push over, flip over the position, sweep. I got to give Adesanya props, man, and you know, to shore up this area of the game, to show he's working on it, getting better. It's tough now to see who's going to beat this guy. You know, he is so much more well-rounded on an absolute another level. You know, the fight was spent 98 at the minimum percent of the fight was on the feet, and you're not going to beat Adesanya in a kickboxing battle. I'm sorry. Now that he seems to have been exposed by Blachowicz, really patched up that area of the game. Dang, man, Adesanya wins this fight. Pretty clear-cut, pretty easy in my estimations. Marvin Vettori, a little too much of a meathead. It burns him tonight. He's just not the better man, straight up. He's just not the better man. Adesanya's the better fighter. He proves it tonight. Dominant victory. Al, what do you think?
Yeah, it was look, I said it. I said if he was going to win this fight, Adesanya, it was probably going to be by decision. And I at least I had the fight goes the distance yes to back up the bet that I had on Vettori. And it was interesting, like Izzy was backing up a lot, which I found interesting, and then realized that the reason that he's backing up a lot in this fight to prevent he's closing that distance between his back and the cage behind him.
Bingo.
So that if he shoots in, you know, and he did I hadn't seen him do that. He did it a little bit against Romero, but then he realized he didn't need to do that. Excuse me. But yeah, he did an amazing job getting back to his feet. And one of the highlights of the fight for me was just Marvin Vettori's coach just pleading with him to stop fighting and just put the fight on the ground, and just literally pleading with him, like, what are you waiting for? We came all this way. What are you waiting for? And Vettori, he was just getting frustrated and wanted to play this tit for tat game with the best striker on earth. And Adesanya was there to be hit to the body. You know, he's there to be hit to the body, and Vettori's just headhunting the whole fight. And Adesanya is a master of mixing up those leg kicks, and they pay dividends as the fight goes on and kind of forces the opponent to, you know, their movement is their movement is nullified, and it becomes easier to predict them. And then again, Vettori's coach, Rafael Cordera, is just like, why are you such an idiot? Like, paraphrasing, but just like, why, like, you spend all this time in training camp to do what? To stand here and miss and, hit air? Like, and then even when Vettori gets him down, Adesanya he had this control. Like, he was never in too much danger. Even when he was in that RNC, it looked like I think it looked worse with that overhead angle than it did. Like, he almost got him, but I feel like with the ease that Izzy was able to get out of it, I feel like it just looked a little bit worse on TV than it actually was. And it was just, he even when Adesanya gets punched, I've noticed this is like he's able to take that. It's his balance, it's his footwork. His footwork alone is his ability to evade. Even he doesn't even need to evade. Even when he gets hit clean, and we saw it against Blachowicz, just his footwork alone, his balance, it just makes it so that there's no follow-up. And he's always able to, bob and weave. And even when he gets punched, he just takes that lateral space away. And, Vettori on the follow-up, he comes rushing in and he just hits air. And Vettori swinging like an idiot when he should be taking him down. And even on the separations in the takedown attempts, you see no like, elbows, or you see nothing in the separation. And it was just, and I'm such a fan of Israel Adesanya, so it's so frustrating to bet against him when he's just styling on somebody like he was tonight, right? Like, it was disappointing. And I feel like, we seen that was one of the worst Vettori performances we've seen in a really long time. Like, he's not that bad. Adesanya just has Jedi mind tricks to make people fight terribly, and Vettori's a bit of a meathead. Not a bit of a meathead. He's a huge meathead. And John Anik even said he thought he sounded a little bit delusional in between rounds, because he said he thought that he was winning the fight, which I agree. That is delusional. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I'm kicking myself that I didn't bet Adesanya, but I stick to it. If, in hindsight, I would have there wasn't enough value in Adesanya at plus 165 to win by decision. It just wasn't there for me. And I think that's the lowest he's been to win by decision since he's come into the UFC. So I stick to my guns. Vettori was the right side here, at least on the money line. And so Adesanya, he's won 6 of his 11 UFC appearances by decision now. 12.3 units on the decision prop in his UFC career. So this guy, as for being known for a couple highlight knockouts, he's really, he's a decision fighter. He's got that John Jones style of keeping the challenger at bay, keeping the distance, and just picking the guys apart from the outside. And he called out Whitaker, which is a smart fight for him to try to build his legacy. I would love to see that, but I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but after seeing such a decent performance as far as the wrestling goes, I still think that there's a chance that this guy can be a double champ and move up again to 205 and have some success. I think that fight against Blachowicz was a crossroads fight, and he's gotten a lot better. And I'm going to be on him. I'm going to be on him against Whitaker for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you fully. Like, if that fight's booked, I'm going to tell you right now, yeah, that's the move because guess what? Whitaker's path to victory is to try to put him on his back and out wrestle him. And Whitaker actually has sneaky good wrestling. I don't think it's going to be enough anymore. Like I said, I think Adesanya's he's just short up that area of the game. You know, he showed us tonight. The get up game was just on point. And I mean, Vettori's honestly a bigger, heavier guy than Whitaker, the former welterweight. Like, yeah, Adesanya, he's beaten Whitaker again. It's a pretty proper call out. Yeah, Al, the double champ thing. I don't know, but I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, imagine if Izzy had this kind of a success in the get-up game as he did against Blachowicz. It's a totally different fight. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man, but Adesanya at this point now that he's rounded out, I really don't see him losing for a while. I'm really racking my brain trying to think who's going to be the next. We're going to need to see an absolute monster wrestler, you know, someone on. We're going to need to see basically, I feel like a middleweight Habib emerge that you can just bank on is going to get a takedown and just has success holding everyone down. It's that guy is not out there. I don't see that guy on the horizons right now. I think Vettori had a good shot. He had a game plan. Really didn't stick to it, man. And I tell you what, you stray from the game plan. You play your opponent's fight. I tweeted it out. I mean, it was round 2. Vettori's giving Adesanya the fight Adesanya wants, right? And that's where Adesanya wins, you know. According to the commentary, he was really winning against Jan Blachowicz right up until those takedowns. I think it was playing out a lot closer than they were willing to admit, but who knows? And that's a whole nother conversation we can't really get into. But yeah, Israel Adesanya, man, he snaps my over 3 month long main event winning streak, man. What are you gonna do though? Took the shot on the dog, doesn't come through. Adesanya reigns at 185 still. Big bounce back win. Al, what do you